Hello there my friends who listen to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review, and today we're going to be talking about Yara and her new baby, and we'll also be weighing in on baby Mila. Yes, that's right, we've all been waiting to see how Jovi would step up to manhood, and as we suspected, he's done it in the style of a super brat. But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoy my content, please don't forget to smash the like button, it really does help with the algorithm, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Ebird Online. So without further ado, I give you Jovi and Yara. So guys, quite a lot's happened since we last spoke about this couple. And so before I review this week's episode, I'm going to go over the main problems that Jovi and Yara have been having. So this season there've been an awful lot of changes for this new couple. And so aside from the big change of course, being married, there are three massive changes which both Jovi and Yara have to come to grips with. And of course, the first life-changing event is brand new baby Mila. And so as we know, Yara is very no-nonsense. And since she's had baby Mila in her life, she wants to do everything her way. So Jovi seems to think, oh, ask my mum, ask my family. But Yara wants to parent baby Mila her way. And I think that's completely her right. So very unfortunately for Yara, in baby Mila's first weeks, she was unlucky enough to catch COVID. Seemingly, Jovi didn't like wearing a mask in his strip bars, and so Yara had to go and stay with Jovi's mum, so she could help her with the baby whilst she was ill. And I've got to say, Gwen has been an absolute diamond with Yara, and she's given her as much help as anyone could hope from a mother-in-law or someone she didn't know previously. But Yara explained to us that she felt very out of sorts in Jovi's mum's house. So she said that Jovi's mum always said she knew how to feed her better and she should look after her like this or like that. And of course Yara has her own ideas about how she wanted to parent Mila. And Yara said that sometimes she felt quite uncomfortable because Jovi's mum was quite bossy and quite overbearing. But she also made a little aside and she said, when I go and have a shower, I have to take my towel and take all of my clothes and get dressed in the bathroom instead of my bedroom because of course Jovi's dad's there and I feel really weird walking around the house in just a towel. And when I first heard this, I thought, that's quite strange because it's not a massive house, it's not far from the bathroom to her bedroom. But then guys, I remembered one thing. Remember when she first met Jovi's dad and he'd pulled up all her Instagram pictures of her in bikinis and her on holidays and on the beach. And he said to her, this is inappropriate for how we behave in America. So I've got a feeling that Yara felt Jovi's dad was somewhat of a perv. And that's why I think she felt a little bit uncomfortable there. And the truth be told, when I first clapped eyes on Jovi's dad, I thought, is it Homo erectus or Homo sapien sapien? I can't quite decide. And to back this up, Yara would rather be on her own in New Orleans with no friends and baby Mila than with Jovi's mum. And you've got to admit, that's an extremely lonely existence with Jovi away for extended periods of time at work. A new baby is so difficult for anyone. But without a support system, it must be so isolating. And the second issue that this new couple have had is Jovi's job. So whilst Yara was pregnant, Jovi was away at work for 4 months. He told her he was going to be away for a month and it got extended because of COVID. But he came back for I think a month or 2 months. And then again he was away for another 3 months. And whilst many might think that Jovi's absence would be a plus point for young impressionable baby Mila, after all, these few months away might keep her off the pole in the future. It meant that poor Yara was on her own dealing with the baby. But what I think is a really big problem with this is the fact that Jovi didn't try and take any time off work, paternity leave or anything. And he just brushed it off by saying, well, Yara can go and stay at my mum's, it'll be fine. Jovi, Yara doesn't know your mum, you're her husband. She wants her young family together. What doesn't click about that? And if that's not bad enough, Jovi brushes off Yara's concerns by saying, oh, that's just my job. That's just how it is. My dad's got the same job and my mum managed just fine when I was a kid. Oh, Jovi. Let's think about the differences. When you were a kid, it was a time when 1. You could happily accept sweets from a stranger. 2. You could sit in the back of a car with no baby seat from about the age of 2. 3. Your brother or sister could act as a babysitter for you from about the age of 9. And 4. Kids were able to say, Mum, I'm going out all day long on my bike with my friends. And your mum would say nothing more than, okay, make sure you're back by dinner. Those were those days, Jovi, not these days. We don't do the things that we used to do now. Things have changed. Time has ticked on. Jovi, we're now in the 21st century. Think about that. Jovi's unbelievable inability to listen to what Yara is telling him and to listen to what Yara is asking him for is a massive worry for their future. He just thinks, because my mum did it, then everything's fine. Jovi, your mum had a support system. She had sisters and family with her. She's from New Orleans. She knows the lay of the land. Think about it. Yara's in a different country. Be as supportive as you can and do not be dismissive to her issues and her problems. And guys, it really does make me laugh when Jovi says, my dad was away when I was younger and I turned out okay. No, you didn't. Have you seen yourself? It's everything short of okay. You're a 30-year-old man-child. You want your wife to cater to you. You think it's okay to take her to strip bars. And when she's pregnant with your child, you think it's fair and acceptable to grab her a load of dirty old crayfish that have been hanging around on someone's plastic table in their backyard instead of actually getting her the food she asked you for. Jovi, oh Jovi, you haven't turned out okay, not by a long stretch of the imagination. And the third thing that this young couple have to deal with is the house, a brand new home. So as we know, Jovi and Yara were living in a one-bedroom apartment before, which Yara thought was far too small and pretty much like a bachelor pad. And it was right in the centre of New Orleans. Yara thought it was dirty and disgusting, and Jovi thought it was great fun. But obviously now they need another room with baby Mila. And so Jovi, in his infinite wisdom, or his limitless laziness, I'm not quite sure which, decided to let Yara choose where they were going to live and to rent the apartment whilst he was away at work. Now this to my mind is a ridiculous idea. No matter who's living together, both parties need to have some say or at least know where they're going to. And bear in mind the following when you consider how remiss Jovi was in letting Yara choose. 1. She hates New Orleans. 2. He loves New Orleans. 3. She wants to keep his mum at a distance. And 4. She doesn't know anyone in the US, so proximity to friends and family means nothing to her. When you put all these facts together, it's highly likely that one party is going to be very happy and the other very unhappy. Usually, the one that's doing the deciding will be happy, and the one for whom the property has been decided will be very unhappy. And so when Jovi arrived home, all smiles and grins in the airport, and he met Yara, he didn't know what was in store for him. And as they were driving in the taxi to their new home, they kept driving and driving and driving and driving. Guys, Yara had chosen somewhere in the middle of nowhere. If they'd have driven for 10 more minutes, I would have sworn blind they were in the middle of Kiev. And so there were loads of woods and bushes, and it really was the middle of nowhere. But if you want a definition to the middle of nowhere, look no further than Jovi's definition. That means more than a 20-minute walk from any US strip bar or titty bar. It was so far in the middle of nowhere, I half expected Natalie to pop up out of the woods. And Jovi was absolutely fuming. He hates his new abode. And this to me, in essence, really puts it into perspective how selfish Jovi really is. He doesn't think what's good for Yara or what's good for baby Mila. He just considers what's good for him. And he consistently moans that since baby Mila's been around, Yara doesn't cater to me. Pee off, Jovi. She's got a whole nother human being to actually take care of. A human being who can't walk, talk. A human being who can't do anything for themselves. A human being whom, if you left alone, would die. That is what she's dealing with. His selfishness, honestly, knows no bounds. And guys, when he was sitting in his new apartment, he said, I can't even walk into the city. I can't do anything. I feel like I live in the middle of the woods. This is terrible. I love being married and I love being a father, but this is not what I signed up for. And this is going to be hard for me to swallow. So as they settle into their new apartment, they find they have many teething problems. But one of the main problems for Jovi is the fact that baby Mila sleeps in their same bed, and Jovi wants he and Yara to be close again. And obviously they can't be intimate because baby Mila's there. And I've got to say, I see some validity in what Jovi's saying. And I think Yara did too, because Yara agreed, well, okay, baby Mila can get her own cot. And so they decide to go shopping for a new cot. And very unsurprisingly, Yara decides when they go shopping that she wants a cot that's $700. Jovi's somewhat shocked. He thinks they should be able to get something for about $200 or $300. Really, Jovi? You're worrying about money now? It didn't seem to bother you when you were throwing money at your strippers on your stag nights. And it seems to me that even though Jovi's got quite a bit of money, he's happy to spend money on some things, but not on others, and Yara very quickly finds they're out of alignment on how much they should spend. And she decides they'll get a cot another day, and they leave the store empty-handed. But Jovi's got other, more important, pressing matters on his mind. Jovi laments that Yara's no fun anymore. When they were together before, they rarely had a boring day. But he said now Yara's scared to leave the apartment. And he rolls out the very worst of all insults. Yara's boring. How lovely, Jovi. What a lovely thing to say to your new wife and the mother of your brand new child. And he tells production, I want old Yara back. Fun Yara. We used to have so much fun, but life's so boring now. And so he suggests to Yara that instead of spending money on a boring little cot who needs somewhere to sleep, they should in fact take a trip. And he wants to go somewhere fun and go out clubbing and go to nice restaurants and reignite their relationship. Sans baby Mila. And Jovi said, I want old Yara back. And Yara said as quick as a flash, this is new Yara. We have a baby now. New Yara's going to be here for the rest of your life. Way to sugarcoat it, Yara. Way to sugarcoat it. And she said, do you want or you don't want? But Jovi still presses home the point. I want just one good weekend where we have loads of fun. And that's where we end things for this review. So what does the Ebird make to this? Well, I think that Jovi's in some ways unfair because basically he's been away for months and months during the pregnancy and post-pregnancy, and Yara's basically been acting as if she's a single parent. So she hasn't been going out, she hasn't been going to clubs and restaurants, and Mila has been her life, all she has and all she does. Now Jovi's back, Jovi expects Yara to snap back into what she was pre-Mila, and that's always going to be difficult to do. But I do also think that it's a good idea for them to get away for a weekend. Because I do think even though they have got a young child, they should still retain some of themselves. And I think for Yara, whilst Jovi's back, they should make the most of their time. Because very soon he'll be going away again. And then even if she wants to go out, she pretty much can't. So I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the backstory and so on of Yara and Jovi from this season. It hasn't been so interesting because of course Jovi hasn't been around a lot and it's just been Yara and the baby and Gwen. But the next couple of episodes I think really define the differences between Jovi and Yara. And of course the Ebird's got you covered. So I know I'm running hella behind, but in the next couple of days I will get the video to you of them going to Miami and the whole strip bar incident, and we're going to pick all the pieces of that story apart. So let me know in comments down below what you think with regard to this story. Do you think that Jovi's out of order, expecting Yara to go away without the baby? Or do you think that Yara should have chosen somewhere to live closer to New Orleans, knowing that that's what Jovi would have preferred? Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make Ebird a happy Ebird. And I'll be back with another video very soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online and I bid you good day.